everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. I don't need much introduction on this one. You guys all know what's going on between this man right here, Bob Cicherillo, and Dave Palumbo. I'm sure you all watched the interview yesterday. And Bob, before we even get started, I want to play you a little audio clip from one of my favorite songs by The Hives. Ready? Yeah, they rock. You don't know the song yet? Here we go. It's called "Hate to Say I Told You So." I knew that. I knew Dave was gonna. I knew the interview was gonna go the way it went, just because I've seen Dave's interviews before. Like I said, I wouldn't even call it an interview. It was more like I wouldn't say spirited debate. I'd say it was almost like an interrogation. He had a lot of questions, but you didn't have enough evidence. I feel like you should have waited a little bit, and now some stuff has finally come to light. First of all, Joe Rogan show, it turns out, as you told me earlier, your wife, can we say your wife's name? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Tasha.
So, as it turns out, totally coincidentally, Tasha happens to know someone who works for the Joe Rogan show or Joe Rogan's Experience, or what's the deal there?
So my wife works she does marketing and for various companies, some of them high end. One of them is a good friend of mine, Diamond Dallas Page, which most people will remember from the WWE, NWO, WCW. He's a Hall of Famer. He's been a good friend of mine for many years. So long story short, she does his marketing. And
I loved him in The Devil's Rejects, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Rob Zombie film.
DDP's good people, man. But and they're killing it over there. I mean, he's going to do, I'm sure they wouldn't mind me saying, they're going to do 14 or 15 million this year.
Wow.
And his DDP yoga, for all those diamond people out there that follow it. But anyways, long story short is, so he was actually on Joe Rogan's show last month, the month before, fairly recently.
Yeah.
So now my wife doesn't follow any bodybuilding stuff. So for all those people that think they're going to get to her and, get your 2 cents in there, she doesn't follow any of this stuff. Actually, she didn't know anything about it until I brought it up to her. And I didn't even put 2 and 2 together because I don't follow every single thing that they do. Even though he's a good friend of mine, I got other things to do, Ron.
Sure.
Like promoting shows, like the Niagara Falls Pro show that's this weekend. NiagaraFallsPro.com for all my Canadian people watching this. So I brought it up to her, this whole thing, because I told her I was actually going on Dave's show the other day, which she thought was very unusual because she knows I don't really care for Dave.
Yeah.
I says, look, I'll explain it to you later. It's a long story. So I did. And when I explained to her, she goes, well, I know people at the Joe Rogan show. And I go, no, I actually didn't know that. And she says, yeah, I'm the one who actually set up the whole thing for DDP to go on there. I'm like, oh, well, do me a favor. See if you can track down this Jamie Vernon guy. Okay, this is allegedly the guy that Dave was in contact with. He was going back and forth, and I sent these emails to. Everybody knows the rest of the story. Okay, torpedoed the whole thing, Ron.
Yeah.
Okay,
tell me when it's time, because I want to read the email. But go ahead. Keep setting it up.
I've privied you, of course, to the exchanges I've gotten, and we'll put that out in a second. But and believe me, folks, all the stuff will be on there. Ron will make it so you can see everything. Okay. Because it's kind of important. So she reached out to her people. Now, she didn't deal with this guy, but she did recognize the name. Said, I think he was copied on the emails, but I dealt with this guy, David something or other, who's in charge.
Right.
Okay. So she reaches out to him. He says, look, I don't know anything about this stuff, but let me look into it, and I'll get back with you.
I want to read this because it's going to be hard for people to read on screen. Mm-hmm. So she emailed David, and this was word for word. I copied it. Hey, David, hope you're doing well. I have a bit of an unconventional question to ask you. It seems as if the Joe Rogan name is involved in my conversations once again, but this time through my husband. My husband is Bob Cicherillo, a fairly popular IFBB pro bodybuilder and longtime MC for much of the IFBB NPC show circuit. He's most known for hosting the entire Mr. Olympia weekend in Las Vegas for about 13 years now. He just informed me that someone is using his email and influence to have a potential guest removed from the show. This person, Dave Palumbo, an amateur bodybuilder, writer, etc., has now gone online and is trying to cause problems because he thinks Bob ruined his chance to be on Rogan. As you can guess, my husband has never sent an email to anyone in the Rogan offices, nor would he know who to send it to. A person named Jamie, Rogan's booker, I imagine, was involved and told Dave about the emails. What I'd like to find out is the actual email address used to send this erroneous information. Can Jamie provide the actual email address supposedly sent from my husband that he received Obviously, we want to hold the individual accountable, not through a public forum or legally, but through a phone call with that person and my husband, man to man or woman. This situation is very childish and juvenile, but has been blown up to plain stupidity. My husband simply wants to clear his name. Any help you can provide would be absolutely amazing and greatly appreciated. Warmest regards, Tasha Cicherillo.
Okay.
Response from David was, I'm sorry, you got a response from someone named, I assume it was blocked.
Yeah, she's redacted, obviously, some of the pertinent info for obvious reasons. We don't need the goofballs out there that have been blowing up my phone. They're a legitimate big-time company. Joe Rogan is not a small-time player, okay? He only deals with big-time celebrities. Everybody knows Joe Rogan, okay?
He's the #1 podcast in the world.
Yeah. So, I mean, that pretty much says it all. Now, the information I got was from Dave Palumbo himself, okay? As we started our dialogue, and I called Dave, and I said, look, I don't know anything about this stuff, Dave. I didn't put out these emails, don't know anything about it. I said, send me the link, your email exchange with this Jamie guy, so I can track the IP. So he sends me a text exchange, which you have, which we'll also provide for everybody to see.
Put it up right there. Yeah,
we'll put it up. And it's got his email on there. Now, I emailed the guy, and Ron Avedon also reached out to him. Both of us got no response. Well, there's a good reason for that. And the reason is that the email is a Gmail account, which doesn't exist. Okay? So that was a huge red flag, obviously, because can't track much of anything yet. On the email exchange that Dave sends to me, because I said, look, send me this thing and I'll track it. I'll have somebody track it. I got people. Okay. Right. So he does. And what everybody's looking at is the actual exchange. Now, you'll notice on there, this is back in June. June 18th, okay, to be specific, is when this starts.
Yeah.
You'll also notice, and you guys can go back and forth, it's so stupidly written that any moron can see that this is not real. It's got no bearing. I mean, it's got no professionalism to it. It's a Gmail account. The exchange itself is so ridiculous that, like I said, I can't think he's that stupid, right, that he actually believed any of this. However, he does. But the guy... They go back and forth. Go ahead, Ron. Go ahead.
Well, let me read a couple things here, and then I'll leave it all to you. Yeah. So that what you're referring to was what Dave sent you was supposedly the email that he got from Jamie, someone calling himself Jamie, which said, "Hi, Dave. Thanks for providing that background info on yourself. We received this email from a guy named Bob Cicherillo. I didn't really know who he was since I'm not that knowledgeable in bodybuilding. One of the PAs here Googled him, and he was an Olympia contestant a while back." Were you ever in the actual Mr. Open Olympia? You were?
I was, 2002, actually, yeah.
It's been a minute.
Google.
A while back. Is there some kind of feud between you guys, Jamie? And we went right past the person at the Joe Rogan show with first two letters CH, it's probably Chuck or Charles, at the Jeff Sussman Management Incorporated. He responded to your wife with...
That's just to qualify, that's the boss. Okay, so this is Jamie... Vernon's boss. Okay, this is the boss.
Okay, so he's the head muckety muck. He says, "Hi, Tasha. I checked with Jamie, our podcast producer, and the only thing he is aware of is that Dave Palumbo got pranked by someone online posing as Jamie using an invalid email address for Jamie himself. Apparently, Dave made a YouTube video about it. We don't know anything else beyond that. Best, CH, blocked off, Jeff Sussman Management Incorporated." So,
now, what does that tell us, boys and girls? They don't even know who Dave Palumbo is. They've never heard of him. They've never reached out to him. They've never given him an email. This guy, Jamie Vernon, has never talked to Dave Palumbo. Okay? The whole thing is fake. Exactly what I've said from day one. Now, there's only two possibilities here, Ron. Okay?
Possibility one.
And possibly one. Either Dave is that stupid, which even I have to give him more credit than that. I almost can't bring myself to think that he's that dumb, that he fell for this and couldn't see the obvious red flags that went up. And he just bought this hook, line, and sinker. He got played more than anybody I've ever seen get played in my life. Or option two is he's the one that contrived it all. And that's the only two options, because anybody who reads this, as you're going to put it up, can see the very first exchange between this guy, Jamie, and Dave is... And I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me. You do, but it says, you can read it, Ron. Actually, it's right there. It says, "Hey, Dave, I'm Jamie Vernon from the Joe Rogan show. I got a couple of emails from your fans, and they want you on the show. And yeah, let's look into it. Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no there's no number. There's no give me a call. There's no here's what I need from you to go forward. There's no nothing.
Yeah. I
Dave
mean,
responds as you see, and he gives, oh hey, great to hear from you. I'd be a great guest, and then goes on with 5 paragraphs of how great Dave is and what
yeah.
he brings to the table and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Then again, now this is June 18th. Almost 2 weeks goes by, and there's no response.
Mm.
So Dave himself says, oh hey, just if you need any more info, let me know. Then he responds with, oh, well, yeah, I got this email from this Bob Cicherillo guy, blah, blah, blah. Now, you'll notice, people, as you're looking at this, the reason I had Dave send me this is I wanted to track the IP.
Yeah.
There is no IP on there. There's no address for me. It doesn't say my email. It's actually the only thing that's not there, which I find also very suspect. So you see Dave's email, you see this Jamie guy's email, even though it's a false one.
Right.
Where's the one from me?
Well, I mean, out of those two scenarios, I'm going to give Dave the benefit of the doubt that he didn't completely fabricate all this.
Right.
And he's not a stupid man. You can call Dave a lot of things. I would never call him stupid.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he went to med school for a couple of years. He can't be dumb. But my guess is that he was so excited at the prospect of going on the #1 podcast in the show, which would have catapulted him. It would have done great things for him. I mean, geez,
well,
his YouTube channel would have gotten 1 million subscribers.
Dave, I know you'll be watching this, okay? That costs money, okay? They just don't reach out to people that fans write in. And they don't even know who you are. They've never had an exchange with you. But you were too dumb to actually see the forest for the trees, that when you got this, your ego was so big that you actually thought, oh, I got a shot to get on Joe Rogan. You never asked not one question as a journalist, which I find inexcusable. That you never asked anything. You never got a number. You never got nothing. There was no exchange of, let's get on a call and let's see if we can put nothing. Yeah. And then 2 weeks goes by and you hear nothing. And then you get this. And again, now, I don't know if there's any more exchange after that. That's all Dave sent me. There could be, but he never asked like, hey, man, no, I know this Bob guy. And I mean, I don't know why he would say this. This is bullshit. Hey, call me and we can, nothing.
Okay. Well, conclusively, we can state right now that the Rogan show never did reach out, never contacted Dave.
No.
That much is certain. Everything else is kind of still up for debate, and we're speculating. We don't have hard evidence to say definitely this or that happened, but we can say that at the very least, Dave did get pranked. He got trolled. Yeah. I don't know. I can't even guess the motivation of the person who did that, but
Well, now Dave initially speculated, when we were just having our first discussion, he speculated that this has got to be somebody who really doesn't like me. Mm-hmm. And my counter was, and it's even more emphasized now, no, Dave, I think it's somebody who really doesn't like you. They actually only use me as a pawn in this entire thing. Right. Somebody went to the lengths. And again, we're going to give Dave the benefit of the doubt because, like I say, he's a lot of things, but he's not a complete ignoramus. Mm-hmm. All right. And I'll reserve that. Okay. That I'm guessing he didn't actually set all this up. But you can't be that naive to the fact that you did no homework. You did no vetting. You don't know who this guy, all you got was this erroneous, it's a Gmail account. And if you look on there, I think Jamie's email's on there. It's a regular account of a business, like Jamie Vernon at JoeRoganExperience.com, like something you would expect, with a number and his office and, all that professional type of stuff.
Let me see what it said.
How would you ever think from a Gmail account, never questions it, but I'm going to go back to some of the original that Dave wouldn't answer. This is June 18th, bro. Yeah. Okay. Now, Dave's answer on the quick response was, well, I didn't want to be a distraction to the Olympia out of respect for Dan Solomon, the Olympia. I didn't bring it up. First of all, it's June, July, August, September. It's 3 months before the Olympia. So it wasn't like it was 2 weeks before, in which I would respect and say, okay, well, wait till okay. That's number one. Two, allegedly, the video he makes where he's all pissed off, calling me names, and I'm a little bitch and a rat and all this stuff, he did months ago. He films this months ago, which he told, because somebody sent me the link that him and Romano were talking about. And he says, I put out this video, this and that. And he's basically been sitting on it for all this time. So after the Olympia, which was now 2 months ago.
Almost 2 months, yeah.
Why didn't he put it out then? Why didn't he put it out in the beginning of October? Why didn't he put it out 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago? Yeah. Why does he wait till now to bring this stupid thing up that he never called me? listen, by Dave's own admission from all the video that they saw with me and him,
Hmm.
right? Well, I believe if you say you didn't do it, I believe you, bro. No, I believe you. I don't think you did it. I don't think. Well, you could have done this 4 months ago, man. Why you been
Yeah.
stewing on it the whole time when you could have made one phone call, gotten the whole thing squared up? But what more interestingly, you could have actually seen that this thing was completely bogus. You weren't even ever talking to the real guy at Joe Rogan. They don't even know who you are. They don't know you exist. They would never work with somebody like you. You know, it's ludicrous to even think, Ron. That's why I'm kind of torn. Even though I want to think that this isn't something contrived by Palumbo, I
Hmm.
can't completely rule it out because like I say, a good half of me, I hate to back up Dave, but I can't believe he's that stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I can't either. Like I said, I believe his judgment was clouded just out of excitement, and
Really.
he wants to be on Joe Rogan. I mean, anybody that's looking to expand their brand, and this is a business for him. Dave is RX Muscle. Dave is his brand basically. So it would have done such amazing things for RX and for him, his YouTube channel.
Of course it
Basically,
would.
yeah,
But
it
you know
would.
what? That ain't
It would
free. I know that because I've had conversation with DDP. Like I said, you pay for this type of thing. You know, listen, you don't go on there for nothing. I mean, it's
no,
obviously going to bolster anybody's business. It certainly did DDP well. I mean, they got a great, tremendous response from it. Listen, Joe's a businessman, and he's the number one podcast in the world. They would never just reach out to some unknown who's got nothing to do with nothing and then ask the stupid questions that this Jamie guy asks, which is none. He doesn't ask anything. If you notice on that exchange, and everybody can piece this thing apart, he doesn't even ask Dave for anything. Now, wouldn't that be the first thing you would do, Ron? Is look at Dave. I need you to, hey, why don't you tell me a little something about yourself or this and that? He doesn't actually ask for anything. Dave just offers his resume. Hey,
yeah,
here's who I am. Here's what I've done. I do this. I've done keto. I've done whatever. I'm the trainer to the stars. Okay, all that stuff. And
yeah.
he doesn't even respond for 2 weeks. There's no response. I mean, that wasn't a clue.
Unless he thought, wow, this guy must be super busy. He can't get back to me. But I mean, if I was in that position where I was really hoping to get on such a major outlet like the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, I'd be very eager to comply. Say, what do you need? How do we proceed from here?
Of
What do you
course.
need from me? Let's get this going. Because I'd be stoked if I was going to be on that show too, or if I thought I was going to be on it.
Well, now, in all fairness, and again, because I am transparent when it comes to this stuff, okay, I
Yeah.
don't know if there's any exchange after that. Like I say, because that's all Dave sent me.
Mm.
He says, "Oh no, I sent you the exchange, but there's no and I keep asking. I've asked Dave 3 times since then, bro. There's no email address on here. Where is the email? Okay, there's an email between Dave and this Jamie guy, right? The imposter. There's an
Yeah.
email back and forth. So you see this Jamie guy's email address. You see Dave's email address. On the email that's provided to Dave that's allegedly from me, there's no email address. And I
Mm.
keep asking Dave, where is it? And he goes, well, that's what he sent me.
Mm.
Wait a minute. So you didn't think that was a little unusual? Like, so how do you attribute this even to me then?
Yeah. Well, we're not. I'm sure this isn't completely over yet. I kind of wish it was, but
No, you
it's
know who
not.
it's over for? It's over for Dave. You
Well,
just got exposed, okay? You just got completely lit up. You got completely exposed. Like I say, you're either that stupid or you were behind it. Maybe it's a slow week, Dave. Maybe you thought, man, I can get some clicks out of this. I don't know.
yeah.
Again, I'd like to not think that, but some of it just doesn't make any sense as to why you waited so long, why you didn't just pick up the phone and call me initially. Why you lost all kinds of sleep over it. You said you were so upset, you were so angry, and this and that, and then now everything just piled up with the girl. I'm stealing all the girls from Dave, and he beat me once back in 1995 at the Nationals, and all and I'm still harboring resentment, Ron. I'm harboring such resentment that Dave Palumbo beat me 25 years ago that I waited until 2019 to exact my revenge.
Yeah, and
That's what I.
you try to cock block him is what he claimed with this girl who.
I take more offense of that actually than any of the rest of this stuff. Like the
Yeah.
very notion that I would give two craps, about anybody that Dave's looking to get with or whatever. The girl he mentions, I don't even know. If
Hmm.
I met her, it was for 2 seconds, and God forbid a girl would actually lie about something like that. And he mentions Lee Thompson for some bizarre reason. It's you know, he asked me the weirdest question. It's like, well, are you a loyal friend? And then, well, what happened with Lee Thompson? It's like, what happened with Lee Thompson? I should have asked him, and I didn't think about this until after on. I should have asked him, well, aren't you friends with Steve Blackman?
Hmm.
I
Well,
mean, What
See,
happened? Aren't you a loyal friend, Dave? And
oh,
something happened between you two, and now you've been bitter enemies for 15 years, whatever it is. But
yeah.
that's the dumbest question I've ever heard. It's like, well, I don't know, when he started bad mouthing Mannion, perhaps, or lied to his face, or started bad mouthing me
Right.
personally. Like, why would I still be friends with him?
I mean, as soon as that question came, I said, I see exactly where this is going, and that's where it went. Um, yeah, I mean, and then he brought up Jim Raquel. Yeah, he also, the thing that he was getting very, very emotional about was you would advise his wife when she was a competitor, she was women's physique or bodybuilding, you
Correct.
advised her not to work with him.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I did that as a friend because Amanda was a friend of mine. This is now, keep in mind, he keeps saying my wife. Okay, they weren't husband and wife at the time. They literally just met, or at least just met in some response that she was going to work with him. She
Right.
actually brought up to me. How else would I know she was going to breathe? She actually brought up to me as in like, hey, what do you think? I'm going to work with Dave Palumbo for my next show.
Mm.
Now, again, the most conservative trainer in the world with the protocol, right, and the advices.
Yeah.
I know people that have worked under him. I know girls that have worked under. I wouldn't listen. It's got nothing to do with his personal life. Whether they were, how would I know at that time they're going to end up dating, having kids, living in a. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
But I would never suggest, and I told Dave that to his face. Listen, you can tell me a lot of things, Ron, but there's one thing that I own everything I say. I attach my name to everything I say. I've never been shy about my opinion. You know
Yeah.
that. I've
Yeah.
never backed
Absolutely.
off from anything when it comes to owning anything. I don't deny things. If I said it, I'll say it. Just
Yeah.
like when Dave asked me that, and I told him, yeah, Dave, I did actually tell her that. Now he makes
Right.
it sound like I was trying to get her to not date him, like I could care less who he
Yeah.
dates or who he doesn't or what she ends up. Listen, that's your personal life. I could care less. But yes, I don't advocate, Dave, for you to work with any females for very specific reasons. Okay, that's my opinion.
Right. And at that time there was no, as far as we know, there was no even remote romantic interest between the two. It was
I wouldn't know.
an athlete was inquiring about a coach that she was potentially
That's
going to
right.
work with. And
Yeah.
I'm sure athletes come to you all the time and say, should I work with so and so? And
All
you know all the background, you know all the inside, so you'll, if you care about this person, their
listen.
health, and especially if it's a woman and you care about them getting androgenized,
That's right.
you'll prevent them from working with someone who you feel, or who
That's right.
from speaking to others, to be using these protocols. And I don't know
Well,
what he has people use or doesn't.
well,
Obviously, I have no idea.
to all the loyal Palumbo minions who've been blowing up my phone the last 3, 4 days, whatever it's been, with stupid rat emojis and all this other garbage. He's calling me names. He's doing it. Now you can see this is your guy. This is your hero. Okay. This is what he came up with. He got
Yeah.
completely snowed.
Yeah.
He got
So
played. I've never seen anybody get played this badly again, and then react to it so poorly. Again, you shouldn't even call yourself a journalist, Dave, because you could have taken 5 seconds to have vetted this guy, even, or just used your head. Again, I can't believe you're that stupid. You couldn't have asked just a couple of questions to see if this guy was even legitimate. And now it
mm,
turns out, just
yeah.
by pure happenstance, oh, I guess what? I actually can get in touch with the Joe Rogan people and find out that email that you're all looking. That's the boss. That's
Right.
this Jamie guy's boss. That's the one who's in charge. That's the one my wife was talking to and set up this interview that had nothing to do with Palumbo, obviously.
Yeah.
That's them saying they don't even know who Dave is. And if I can
Hmm.
get another, and I may actually get one from this Jamie guy himself, I've actually requested one for him to
Hmm.
even further it even more.
Yeah.
Now, the only question left is the IP.
Hmm.
Okay, which and believe me, if I had that information right now, oh man, I'm chomping at the bit. It's making me thirsty. Just thinking about it. I'm actually so thirsty, Ron, that I'm actually taking in this fine, unique Life Boost cubed. It's the new cube that's got the CBD in there, Ron.
Gee.
Yeah, yeah.
Do they sponsor you, Bob, or you just like the product?
Somebody, who puts this out? My good
Hmm?
friend Chris Cook, former USA champ,
Oh,
IFBB
wow.
pro. This is his company actually.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
unique life boost for all those looking for a little pick me up when you have a tough day of getting accused of stuff you didn't do, Ron, of having to fight the masses out there, of people blindly just, oh, he did it. I can tell. I looked at his body language and oh, he's lying. I'm lying.
Hmm?
Okay, guess what?
Huh?
I came up with proof. That's what I did. And if I can track this, I can't get the IP to actually track it, unfortunately, because Dave says he doesn't have it, which I
Oh,
find hard to believe. But if I can get it and I can get it tracked,
yeah.
Better hope it doesn't come up to Cape Coral, Florida. That's all I know.
Well, if Dave doesn't give it to you, you're never going to be able to do that. Am I right?
Well, no, because this guy Jamie doesn't even know who he is. He's never
Right.
had any exchange with him, so it's completely somebody, like I said, that doesn't. This is clearly somebody who has a big axe to grind with Dave. I don't think it's even so much about me. I think I was just used as a pawn in here of somebody that they know. So it's got to be somebody fairly close to Dave. They obviously know we don't see eye to eye. We're not on the same page. We're not even reading the same book. Okay. But that said, and
Yeah.
even Dave, I think, conceded, obviously, as you've seen in the last video, that I believe you didn't do it. Well,
Yeah.
now you believe I didn't do it after you drag my name through the mud, call me names, put this stupid video out, then you retract the video, put a semi apology out, and then that's it. Like, oh, well, I guess we can laugh about it now. I
Well,
ain't laughing about it now, Dave. I got a
this
reputation, okay? And I can back up my shit.
this could be someone who has nothing personally against either you or Dave, but we all know those kids back in grade school who would start fights between two people that had no relation, saying,
Yeah, yeah.
"Hey, so and so called you a queer, or so and so talked shit
Right.
about you. So and so said he could kick your ass," and they go to the other person, and there had been no beef, and now there's a beef, and at recess or after school, they're on the ground beating the crap out of each other.
Well,
So
what bothers me the most, listen, again, we'll give Dave the benefit of the consideration of the doubt, okay, that he did not contrive this whole thing. I'll give him that, okay.
yeah,
The fact that, like I said, when the first email that's out to Dave is so poorly written, okay, like I said, the email that allegedly came from me is so poorly written. There's catchphrases in there that don't even make sense, like referring to the press as the press corps. Now,
that's
Ron,
cool.
you and I have been around a long time in this business. Have you ever heard anybody, especially one of us,
Yeah,
refer to our media as the press corps?
I don't think that term's been used since like the 1940s or 50s.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But it's used there. Like I say, there's a few things in there. If you look at it, it's like, well, that's not my kind of link. Why would I even refer to it as such? But like I say, I refer to my conversation with you. How would I even know any of this existed? How would
Mm,
I know he was trying to get on the Joe Rogan show to begin with? And why would I care?
yeah.
God bless him. Go make $1 million, Dave. Listen, if you can get on there and help yourself, and I listen, I never, like I say, we don't get along. That's, I think, well documented. But I wasn't his mortal enemy either. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
we see each other at the shows. We're actually semi cordial. Hey, Dave, what's up? Hey, man. We'll give the quick handshake and we go on our way.
Yeah.
But
I
this
mean,
is over the top. This I can't excuse. There's no coming back from this. There's no bro hug at the next thing. There's no we can laugh about it now. Now, this was way over the line, man. This was egregious. This was unprofessional. This was a smear campaign. That's what
mm,
this was, without ever even placing a phone call. Ron, you're a journalist. You do your homework. You would have absolutely placed a phone call, or maybe even looked into this to see, well, wait a minute, how do I know this is somebody from the Joe Rogan show? Like, it's a little oddly, written. He doesn't
yeah.
ask me for anything. There's no footing, with his information, like any business that you would get, or an email. His email address is a legitimate one. This one is a
Right.
Gmail,
Yeah.
which
I mean,
anybody can make up.
if it didn't say at Joe Rogan
Well,
podcast.com or Joe Rogan, then I'd be very, very wary of it.
of
And
course
I'd
you.
think, especially if I'm trying to get on the show and I'd be worried about that this is a prank and someone might be screwing me, yanking my chain, I'd
Right.
look into it because I wouldn't want to get my hopes up and it all turns out to be fake.
Of
I would
course.
just want to save myself from that,
Well, yeah.
basically.
You listen. You'd want to vet your own thing just to make sure. Like I say, you don't want to get your hopes up, and you're getting, some one of your buddies playing a prank on you, or somebody just doesn't like you, or saying, hey, let me just see if Dave bites on this. And he did. I mean, that's the worst part about it. He actually does. He buys it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
So I can't excuse that, man. I can't.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not. No, we're not doing that, man. It's like, no, you played your hand. You made a complete idiot of yourself in front of the entire world, and now you're exposed for all it is. And you better hope I can't get that IP addressed, because God only knows where that's coming from, man.
Well, I mean, I hope you do just because I'm curious. I'm curious to who sent it, where it came from, to see, if it did come from Cape Coral or if just some random troll, because there are a lot of people out there, like these people that start computer viruses. I mean, there are
Oh
people
yeah,
out there who just want to see chaos and ill will, and they're miserable people who just want to start shit because they're miserable people. So it could be
that
could
could
be
be.
someone like that.
I
Yeah.
mean, listen, it's clearly somebody who's got a bone to pick with Dave. I mean, that's pretty over the top, bro, even as pranks go. And
Yeah.
then to bring me into it with inflammatory stuff, not only stuff about Dave, but then they bring up like racist stuff, which again, all of us are in the same game. That's never come up with anybody. Even I had to laugh at that one with Dave. It's like, come on, bro. Listen, you're a lot of things, man, but that ain't one of them. You know,
there was, because those are two separate emails. Am I right?
there are two separate ones. Yeah,
Supposedly that were supposedly coming from you. The first one, I didn't have any. I thought maybe Bob wrote that. When I saw the second one, I said Bob would never. That's going beyond.
No.
You know.
Well, now it's proof for everybody to see that not only did I not write them, but Dave wasn't even talking to the Joe Rogan people.
Yeah.
Zero. No correspondence at all, as you see from the boss at the Joe Rogan show. They don't even know who you are, Dave. Hate to burst your bubble, hate to burst your ego. You were never in touch with them. They never considered you for their show. Trust me, man, you're not that high up on the totem pole, okay?
Yeah. Well, I think we better end on that note, because that's all the actual proof we have. Yeah. And I try not to be overly speculative, because it usually comes back to bite me in the ass. So that's much we know is nothing ever came from the Joe Rogan show to Dave, and in fact they were not aware of Dave in any way. So that's where we're at. So if we get anything else, please come to me, Bob, please.
Oh, listen, I gave you this one, Ron. It was too big to pass up. I appreciate your help in the manner. I hope this puts to close this ridiculous story and any speculation anybody has that I had anything to do with this thing. And I think this is even better, because not only was it not just proven that it wasn't me that put out these emails, but it proves that, again, he wasn't even talking to anybody legitimate, which is even worse for him, not for me. But and I'll end on this, Ron, as always. I may not always be right, but I ain't never wrong.
Right. Well, let's actually end with another promotion, because you have a big show coming up this weekend. Let's tell people about that.
Thanks for asking, Ron. Actually, yes, myself and my partner at arms, the lovely Mindy O'Brien, IFBB superstar in Canada, have combined to bring back the prestigious Niagara Pro Show, not seen in 25 years, I think, Ron. It's been actually that long, 1992, somewhere around there. But yeah, so we have we've partnered up. We've got a CPA show, which is the Canadian equivalent of the NPC. We've got 50 athletes right now, I think, which is a great first year start. And we've got 3 pro divisions. We've got bikini, we've got classic, and we've got the 212. Nice. And I understand there's a few more guys that just jumped in, as I was just at Chris Minnis's show out in California, and Guy's sister Nina was there. Unfortunately, Guy missed the mark, but he is pissed off, man, and he is ready to make it right, and he wants that qualification. So I think he's jumped in there with a few other guys. So it's an Olympia qualifying event for those 3 divisions. And I got everybody. I got Big Steve coming. He's head judge. I got J.M. Mannion coming. He's covering for the NPC News. We got all the Canadian superstars that are coming out, from Jody Bohm to Frank McGrath to I'm hoping Bumstead comes out with his mustache. I'd like to see him there, waving and being the Olympia champ. So it's going to be a star-studded event, but we're real excited about it. I think we're going to get a great turnout. We've got about 25 booths, I think, representing. Our goal is to actually turn this into a pro qualifier. If not next year, maybe the year after, and have all the pro divisions listed and possibly turn it into an expo, since the only real expo in Canada is Ron Hachey's, which is a great one, the Toronto Pro, which I've worked for many years for, actually all of the years. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Toronto Pro this year. But it's in June, and it's a great show, but that's the only expo there. So we think there's room for another one towards the end of the year. Even though I got to brave the snow, I got to actually bring a coat. The snow's flying in Niagara Falls, but it's a great opportunity. And, we're very grateful to Jim Mannion, of course, for giving us the opportunity to do it, and Ron Hachey, because without his blessing, this wouldn't have happened. So we look forward to seeing all the fans out there that are coming over the border, and, of course, all the Canadians. And we're going to rock it, man. Like I say, any of that information can be found at NiagaraFallsPro.com.
NiagaraFallsPro.com.
NiagaraFallsPro.com. All the ticket information's on there. You go right through the ticket office. But come on down and support, man. Like I say, we're going to have a great time, and history, Ron, will be made in Niagara Falls.
Well, I'm sorry you had to deal with all this other stuff right before you putting on this big event, but you're moving right on. You're going to have a great promotion there with Mindy, and I wish you all the best with it. Absolutely.
Appreciate it, and I can't wait to see the comments that come out of this one, Ron. We'll be watching.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on, Bob. I appreciate it very much, and great luck with the show.
You got it, buddy.
Ronline Report. It's been Ron with the voice of bodybuilding, Bob Check. Thanks for watching.